Okay, preparing. Yes, we are live. So welcome everyone to the final session of this year's conference. It's session 8 of Global Hands-on Universe 2024. We have oral presentations and a workshop, and then the final closing speech. So welcome everyone, and we have our chairwoman for this night is Elavenil. So Elavenil, thank you for being here. And I would like you introduce our first speaker.
Thank you very much, sir, for giving me this opportunity to be the chairperson for the final session. Let's start off. We have a very interesting array of speakers, I think, now. First one, Shahrzad Mirsoltani. Did I get it right?
Yes, that's correct. Shahrzad Mirsoltani, yeah.
She's here to present something on numismatics and astronomy and utilizing storytelling and game-based learning methods. Sounds very interesting. So the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much. Okay, let me share my screen first. Okay. Okay, now can you see my screen?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm Shahrzad Mirsoltani, astronomy educator from Iran. And I'm really happy to be here with you today in order to present innovative use of Iranian coin display cases in museums for teaching astronomy and numismatics to children. Okay, let's start. Imagine as an astronomy educator, you are going to have a visit to a museum with your students. When I say museum, I don't mean science museums or science centers or history of science museum. No, I'm focusing on the general museums, public museums, big museums. So think about this question in your mind. What's the first thing you notice? Maybe you see the big things in the museums. Maybe you look for the famous ones. But today I want to show you the most smallest things that we can see in the museums. And on the other hand, I want to show you that these objects in the museums, that at the first glance, they don't seem to have any connection with the astronomy and astronomy education, can be conducted as a great source for doing astronomy and astronomy education. Let's go back in time. We know that our night sky was an inspiring element of nature throughout the history, from the ancient times until today. Until these days, people have looked at the night skies. They saw stars, constellation, planets, sun, and everything. And from that time until today, we can see the visualization of heavens in different parts of the life, different parts of the world, in various artifacts and throughout the different subjects. For example, when we look at culture, when we look at literature, when we look at history, when we look at art. In all of these things, we can see the visualizations of heavens throughout the history. My country, Iran, is one of the oldest civilization across the globe, and also Iran contains this kind of artifacts. When I say this kind of artifacts, I mean that in Iran's history, in different period of times, in different artifacts such as coins, such as pottery, such as manuscripts, such as metals, in many various formats of the artifacts, we can see the representation of the heavens, of the celestial objects on them. We can identify them. But today I'm going to focus on the most smallest one of them, and I'm going to maybe a part of the museums that always seem a little bit unattractive in comparison with other parts. Sometimes when we go to the museums, when we go to the coin section, we look at the coins and say, okay, these are just the coins, these are just the money. But today I will show you that the coin cabinets of the museums are a great part of the museums. These tiny objects, these small objects are more than money. And also we can use them for doing astronomy and astronomy education. But because my project, I'm working on a research project in Iran that I'm studying Iranian heritage and the visualization of heavens on them. I'm focusing on Iran, and I want to show you how these display cases in museums from Iranian coins can be a great source for doing astronomy outreach and astronomy education. First, let's look at the science of study the coins, numismatics. When we want to see that what is the science, what do archaeologic, or in a better term, I can say, what does a numismatist do? We can divide it to two parts. First, we can look at the nature of the coin. Okay, there were currency in the different time period, in different civilization. They have their own function. Sometimes we can read the inscription on the coins are super important. They can give us a lot of data. And on the other coins, on the other hand, these coins have a lot of research aspects. We can gain a lot of knowledge about history of art, history of science, history of political history, and different subjects related to history and art. And these small objects in the museums contain a lot of information that the numismatics can study them, and there are a lot of knowledge on these coins in different eras. Actually, I brought a list here, but it's not a complete list. Even for the nature of the coins or for the aspects of the coin research, this is a very, very long list. You can search and gain more data on the details about numismatics. But first we have, okay, here we are going to make a puzzle. First we have numismatics, then we are the astronomy educator and teachers who are going to the classes these days. They are familiar with the inquiry-based learning. Okay, I was thinking to myself, with about different aspects of inquiry-based learning, and I was thinking, okay, the museums, the environment of the museums can be a great place, can be a great environment to use this approach in order to do astronomy education. First, remember, when we say inquiry-based learning, we have the students at the center of this approach. Okay, they are going to learn about the subjects by asking questions. They're going to do some research. They are going to explore the topics themselves. And we know that inquiry-based learning is a kind of active learning. They are not just sitting somewhere and hearing the information from the teacher and listening to the lectures. No, students actively participate in different activities, hands-on science activities, discussion. They can collaborate with their classmates. So they are actively start to learn about the subjects that we are presenting to them. And also, when we talk about inquiry-based learning, one of the most important aspects is critical thinking. Again, imagine yourself in a museum, how much you can use critical thinking inside the museum, how much you can analyze, you can evaluate information, the data that you see in a museums. So we can use critical thinking in the environment, inside the museums. And also, one of the most common things that we have in the museums is the guidance and support of the experts of the museums. So we can bring this one to the inquiry-based learning too. So on the first phase, we have study of the coins. On the second phase, we have inquiry-based learning. That these things, when they combine with astronomy, they establish interdisciplinary learning between these three eras. We have numismatics, we have astronomy, we have inquiry-based learning, and through combining these three fields, from astronomy and numismatics, we can go to archaeology. When we talk about archaeology, we go to the history. When we talk about history, we go to culture, we go to the art. And when we talk about inquiry-based learning, we go through game-based learning. We can do problem solving. We can increase the creativity of students. We can increase their collaboration. And also we can use storytelling methods. Okay, let's explore some Iranian coins with the visualizations of heavens. We have many different types of the coins that contain astronomical symbols. Here I brought 4 of them for you, and I'm going to define some activities with these coins that consist both numismatics and also astronomy. First of all, look at these coins. Okay, what we can get from look at these coins? You can see both over side and the reverse side. Okay, in the over side, it seems that we don't recognize anything related to the sky, but in the reverse side, anyone from any nation for sure can recognize the crescent moon and the star on it. First, we can look at the data. Okay, numismatists, they provided a lot of data on these coins. For example, what is the structure of these coins, what is the metal that they are made from, what does they show to us, even it's obverse part or reverse part, what are they going to visualize, in which country they were mint. We can gather a lot of information about the nature of the coins from the science of numismatics. And on the next phase, let's go and explore the coin together in a few steps. Imagine that you are going to a museum, to a coin cabinet in the museum, and you are going to explore these coins with your students. And in the upper part of the slides, I've put some Parthian coins that the reverse side contains the crescent moon and the star. We have many this kind of coins across the globe. First, we can observe with the students. First, they can go and see the coins. They can see the shape, color, or any image, any inscriptions also I mentioned that are very important. Okay, so first we have observation. Then they can look for the data that are available about the coins, so they try to identify the coins. And in the next steps, they can gather information about the culture, about the history, about any materials and inscription that are presented in the coins. And then we have a very great part. They can go to the different display cases, and they can start make comparison with the different coins. And then we can start questioning them. Okay, students, you are seeing the coins. Do you see any astronomical symbols? Do you see any visualization of heavens? And this questioning makes the first steps to make a bridge from numismatics to the astronomy education. This question can be a start of can make the student start doing research, asking the expert, okay, is this going to represent the moon? Is that going to represent the star, or anything like that? And when they did the research, they can use critical thinking. They can start analyzing the data they gathered. They can think about that. They can discuss that with the other classmates. And then finally, they can make conclusion whether this coin is representing something related to the sky or not. And just with this small coin with a crescent moon and a star, we can dive into the astronomy education. Here we can see the crescent moon. Okay, we talked about every aspect of the coin. We concluded that there is a representation of the moon and the star here. Then we can ask the students, okay, do you know what is the phases of the moon? Why the moon changes its shapes throughout the different nights? And we have numerous activities related to the phase of the moons that we can bring these activities inside the museum next to the display cases of the coins in the museums. And then the students can learn about the phases of the moon, do this activity inside the moons. Okay, let's go to the next coin. It's Parthian coins from one of the most famous dynasties in Iran. And in the tiara of the king here, you can see a very beautiful star. Okay, again, we have the data gathered by the numismatists here. We can read it, we can gather information. But we can ask a question from the students. Do you know how these coins were produced? How could people in the ancient times just
Yeah,
this
5 minutes.
much accurate? They could, for example, represent this star. They were making all the coins one by one? No. Then we can tell them about the process of making these coins, and we can set up the exact tools that the people were using in ancient times. And from astronomy education, from looking at a star in a tiara of a king, we can conduct a series of activities and workshops for making the coins. The students can pick up the hammer and they can do this, just press the metal, just as the people in the ancient time. And then we can do another activity like this. Sometimes the coins that we have, like the another Parthian coin here, in the first glance, there we don't see anything related to the astronomy or astronomical symbol in it. But when we look more closer, we can see that throughout these coins, we can identify that there is some stories, some mythological part related to this kind of coins. For example, here you can see Amphiolus, which is actually depicted from Greek and Roman mythology and came into the Parthian coins in Iran. And here it was somehow in touch with the myths about the Apollo, and they were showing that the kings who were sitting on this Amphiolus was center of the world. Okay, we can use storytelling to tell the story of these coins, and from here we can start talking about the mythological and also the different models we have to describe the universe. For example, Earth center model. Another kind of the coins that we have in Iran is the Sasanian coins, and the Sasanian coins are very famous in having astronomical symbols. The crown of the kings usually contains moon and star and other celestial objects. Then we can go through the game-based learning, and we can make some activity maybe outside the museum, outdoor activities. They can start excavations. We can make some models of the Sasanian coins. So they try to excavate these coins, and they will compare these coins together, and then they will see, okay, all of these coins are representing some astronomical symbols or not. So another activity that can be used, that can be conducted in the museum settings, is excavations between astronomy and numismatics. And also, it's not always about complex activities making excavations. Here, I brought some samples, coloring pages from Malek Museum in Iran. As you can see, they've just produced some great coloring pages for the students. Here we have a Sasanian coin again. Here you can see the moon and the stars. Okay, the students can learn about the coins, and also they can color them. And here we have another Parthian coins. We said before that here you can see the star on the tiara of the king, and they can start coloring this page too. But if you ask me if I take my students to museums, I think the best worksheet that you can give them is just a blank paper, and you
Oh,
can
ma'am, you
ask
have
them
2 more.
design their own coins. Okay, that you can ask them based on the knowledge that they've gained from astronomy and also from archaeology, numismatics. They can now design their coin. So for conclusion, I want to say that we have to consider this point that ancient heritage has this potential to be a gateway to open new doors for doing astronomy education and astronomy outreach. And many in this interdisciplinary activities can be developed around the themes of astronomy and archaeology, and also numismatics. Numismatics is a great part of it. And I can say that the museums, public museums, general museums, can play a very important role for doing astronomy education and doing astronomy outreach. And I think every museum across the globe has this potentiality to make this environment. Okay, I'm talking about Iran, but we have this representation throughout the different heritage in different cultures, different countries. Anyone from any country can do some researches, and they can do similar activities in their museums or in their community. And for the last thing that I want to mention is that this year, International Council of Museums, for their term, they announced that this year we are focusing on the education, and the museums should be an environment for doing education, art, science, technology, all the things related to these subjects. They say that we are focusing on that. But I hope that this vision continues, not just for this year, but also for the next years. And I hope that if anyone here from the museums across the globe has attended this presentation, I hope that we have to rethink. I think we have to establish some connection with the astronomy education, astronomy educators, astronomy education's platforms inside the museums in order to connect these eras, archaeology, culture, history, astronomy, and education together. So thanks for your attention.
Thank you very much. That was a energetic presentation, and
Thank
we
you.
all learned a lot. Any questions? Or do we have time for questions? Okay, there is a question.
I think we just forward one quick question.
Just one question, maybe.
Bruce, yes.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Hi, Shahrzad. Thank you for an awesome presentation. Just one quick question. So your passion for astronomy education comes through in everything that you say and how you react. How did you become interested in ancient coins? That's a really bizarre thing to become interested in. And how do you enthuse the students with that?
Actually, 5 years ago, I started a collaboration with a team at the Max Planck Institute for the History of. There is a project, an ongoing project, the Max Planck Institute for the Science Visualization of Heavens. And when I started getting trained there, I noticed that there is a visualization of the heavens, a big part of it across the globe, not only in Iran, or in the coins. So from that project, I understood this idea and I interested in this subject.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay.